So as I was preparing for tonight's speech, a question came to mind that really disturbed me. And that question was, besides museums, where is the last statue you've seen honoring a woman? Where is the last statue you've seen honoring a woman? Now there's statues of men everywhere. And of course, the first statue that comes to mind may be the Statue of Liberty, right? And while prominent, it doesn't account for how much women have contributed to the world. And on top of that, the Statue of Liberty, she wasn't a real woman, right? So tonight, I want you to just be still, to relax, and like a statue, and just receive these words of affirmation. You've all spent your lives giving so much, and sometimes being taken from. And that's why you have this commitment to violence, because that is one space where women get taken from on so many occasions. My work with the Department of Motivated Vehicles is all about purpose, passion, and motivation. And the creation of OPV nationally and here make the great case study for how to start a movement of women as well as motivate others. And in accordance with this year's theme, I'm going to share with you the formula for fabulousness. So 20 years ago, 17 dedicated women set out to start OPV. And then 10 years ago, 5 fabulous women actually brought that to Syracuse. Oftentimes, the story of success gets told in a way where an individual picks themselves up by their own bootstraps, without help, without support, without sisterhood. And deep down inside, we know that that story is rarely true. No man or woman is an island unto themselves. And though when two or more are gathered together and share one vision, one dream, one purpose, that's when fabulousness is made possible. There's a misconception in the world that personal development is personal, that you go get a book, read it in the corner of your room, and all of a sudden you're transformed. And that's usually not true. We grow in the midst of community. That's why there are so many sororities and fraternities here tonight, because we realize that going through this college life alone is not how we actually achieve our highest potential. And so I am because we are, and we are because I am. And until we each reach a place within ourselves where we feel free and unafraid to be our authentic selves, we as a collective won't reach our full potential, and neither will we as individuals. Now, college is one of the best times in your life to explore your potential. It's where you should take risks and leadership. But for many, their achievements in college during this 4-year space don't translate into their career, or their 40-year career. And we have to ask ourselves, why is that? Unfortunately, it's the fact that underemployment is the biggest issue that we face in the world today. So imagine there's a sample economy of 100 people, and 10 people are unemployed. And the other 90 are only 50% engaged with their work. That's equivalent to 45 people being unemployed, which makes underemployment 4.5 times more problematic than unemployment. And there are many college students who just recently graduated. You may know some line brothers, line sisters, who are out of work or are working in spaces where they aren't able to use their full potential on a daily basis. Unemployment is when your passions and your professions don't align. But the formula to fabulousness requires that in order to be fabulous and fulfilled, you have to follow your passion. There are amazing Frida Kahlos in this audience, but they're on the track to hide themselves in the scrubs of doctors. There are Soledad O'Briens disguising themselves as lawyers, and there are fabulous chefs masquerading as consultants. Now, while these professions are great achievements in and of themselves, the greatest achievement in life is to make a living doing what you love, regardless of what others think. As many first and second generation students, we are often pressured to be doctors or lawyers, as if those are the only 2 paths out there for you to achieve your highest potential. But now is the time not just to pass the bar exam, but now is the time to raise the bar. Each of you have the brilliance to become great at whatever it is that you choose. But if I asked everyone in this room, what are you committed to being the most successful at? Many people wouldn't have an answer. We become comfortable with good enough. Good enough to get into Syracuse and other great universities. We're good enough to get that grade. We're good enough to get that internship. We're good enough to get that job. My question to you is, what are you great enough to do? Take a second and think about it. If you know what it is, write it down. And if you don't know, then you should spend the rest of your collegiate experience trying to figure that out. Until you find something, until you find an answer that resonates with you at your core. With the exception of biological feats like the world's tallest person, nobody's in the Guinness Book of World Records by luck. Everyone who was in that book at some point in their life made a conscious choice to be their best at something. And many of them are making a living doing what they love, no matter how obscure the passion. Now keep in mind, when I say be your best, I don't mean be better. This isn't a competition between you and another man. It's not a competition between you and another woman. It's a competition between you and your highest self. You can be your best without being the best, and you can be the best without being your best. For those of you who don't have master's degrees, and for those of you who do, I'm about to tell you the secret. You ready?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you how to get a master's degree for as cheap as possible. I see people listening now. It's very simple. All you have to do is commit to mastering one thing in your life. Just master something. Because today a 4.0 isn't enough. And what a 4.0 actually challenges us to do is to be average at a lot of different things. And we've never tested our greatness and our ability to master something. And just in majoring in something and mastering in something aren't equivalent. Because if I asked you to come up here on stage and speak for an hour on a topic or a skill that you felt masterful about, it would be very difficult for a lot of people. And so when you master something, not only do you master that skill and that subject, but you also master yourself and you master the process of mastery. And once you understand the process of mastery, you can apply it to anything in your life and have fabulous results. In his book, Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell talks about the 10,000 hour rule. And the 10,000 hour rule basically states that in order to be an expert at something, it requires 10,000 hours of practice. That's 20 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, for 10 years. So what is it that you were so passionate about that you were willing to commit that amount of time and energy to so that you can be an expert and be great at it? Your time is your most valuable resource on the face of this earth. And how you invest your time will determine your return on life. In another book, Success Built to Last, Jerry Porras interviewed 200 of the world's most successful people. And success wasn't defined by money. It was defined by having 2 decades of impact, legacy, in whatever industry or field that they were in. People interviewed include award-winning authors like Maya Angelou, Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, Richard Branson from Virgin, Madeleine Albright, first female U.S. Secretary of State. And the key finding in that research is that successful people were more concerned with doing what they love than being loved. Successful people were more concerned with doing what they love than being loved. Now we all want to be loved and give love, men and women alike. But passion is a word that is used in reference to deep love for an activity and deep love for an individual. The two come from the same place. However, when channeled at an individual or an activity, they manifest differently. Here's the problem, is that when we don't find something that we love doing, we tend to look for love in other people. The reason I'm bringing this up is because society pressures women in particular with certain timelines, like when you should get married and when you should have kids. And oftentimes women who conform to this timeline lose their potential to be fabulous. Now while romantic love is extremely important, it should not take away from your love affair with your passion. I think there are huge benefits to seeking out what you love doing first, and then finding love after that. As a matter of fact, you won't even have to seek love, because when you are doing that which you love, if you believe in the law of attraction, you will naturally attract the perfect partner because you